Today we're checking out 11 iconic cymbal setups from throughout history. We're gonna break down the full setup, we're gonna play all the cymbals, and the best part is we're actually gonna give away 3 of these cymbal setups worth over $16,000. Let's dive in. The first setup we're looking at is John Bonham's from Led Zeppelin, and there's a ton of information out there about all the different cymbals he played throughout his career. He started with 602s, then he moved to giant beats, and then later in 1971, when the 2002 line came out, he started using more of those. We've got mainly giant beats. We've got an 18, a 24, and a 20. And then we've got the 15-inch 2002 Sound Edge hi-hats. John was a huge fan of the Sound Edge hats. He used the 602 versions earlier on. And these have a ripple on the bottom hi-hat, so when you close them together, they don't close and seal perfectly. You get a bit more of an abrasive or crunchy sound out of them, which is pretty cool. So let's check out how all these cymbals sound. This is Neil Peart's cymbal setup from the R40 live tour in 2015, his last tour he did with Rush, which I actually got to see that tour and it was so cool to see Neil up there. This is his whole cymbal setup he had on that rig. All Sabian Paragons, which he played since 2004 when they introduced the line. And there's a few new additions he added to this setup. So he added the 17-inch Paragon Crash, the 19 Paragon Crash. He had the 14-inch Artisan hats, which he had up here where he could go between the Ride and the X hats really easily. And personally, my favorite cymbal in this entire setup is the 20 Diamondback China, which has 4 tambourine jingles and also 4 rivets. So you get a really cool effect sound out of that cymbal. So right now, let's check out how all these cymbals sound. Okay, so we're actually giving away 3 of these iconic cymbal setups we're showing in this video. The full Neil Peart Paragon setup, the full Dave Weckl Evolution and Legacy setup, and the full Tomas Haake setup that he uses with Meshuggah. These are insane prizes worth over $16,000, and 3 of you on the Drumeo YouTube channel are going to be the lucky winners. All you need to do is go to drumeo.com/win. You can enter your email, and that's it. You're fully entered. So good luck to all of you, and let's check out the next setup. This next setup is for 2 from Sleep Token. This is the same setup he used on Take Me Back to Eden, and also the setup he used in 2023 for his Drumeo session. And as you can see, there's still all the white stick marks from that session. I don't actually think these have been played since he was here. We've got a lot of effect cymbals and crashes. You can see we've got all the holes in the crashes on this side. We've got really dark cymbals. These exist dry dark brilliance. And this ride is probably my favorite. It looks insane with all the hammering marks, but when you listen to that record, you're gonna know that this is the exact cymbal. It's super dark and it has that sound that you really only get out of a cymbal like this. We've got a few stacks and splashes, so let's try out all these cymbals and see how they sound. Here we're looking at Travis Barker's setup he's using live with Blink-182 as of 2026. And there's some cool stuff on this setup. We've got 2 sweet rides, a 21 and a 23. The 21 is just used as a crash. Over here we've got the stack with the spiral stacker on top. And in the past he's used the China as the bottom cymbal, but he's moved to a crash for this tour. And the other interesting thing about this setup is the hi-hats, where all of these cymbals are pretty like modern sounding cymbals, but he's picked kind of the vintage bright sound. He's got 16-inch hats over here, so kind of an interesting choice. Right now, let's check out how all these cymbals sound. Next up, we're looking at Stewart Copeland's setup, the same one he used in his Drumeo session. And Stewart Copeland, I believe, is one of the longest standing Paiste artists. He's been with them since the 70s, originally playing the Rude series, but the setup he has now in more recent years is mostly Paiste signatures. And he also has his 2 signature cymbals, the Rhythmatist ride and the 12-inch hi-hats. The ride he has in his Drumeo session is the green version, which I believe is only reserved for Stewart himself. The blue version is the one on the market. There's only 2 cymbals we couldn't get our hands on for this setup, which he had in his Drumeo session. He had an 18-inch flat ride over here, and he had a 14-inch flanger splash, both of which are discontinued. But let's check out all these cymbals right now and hear how they sound. Next up, we're looking at Lars Ulrich's Zildjian setup that he used on the M72 tour with Metallica. And the one notable thing about this setup is Lars doesn't have a ride cymbal. He's got a China right here, but pretty much everything else is just played on the crashes or on the hi-hats. We've got 4 A custom projection crashes, and then these right here, these are really special. These are A dyno beat hi-hats that Zildjian pulled straight from their vault because they're discontinued, and they always keep an extra pair or 2 just in case they need to make these in the future. These are super thick, super heavy, and they have this design going all the way across them. So let's check out all these cymbals right now. Next up, we're looking at Brooks Wackerman's Istanbul AGOP setup he uses live with Avenged Sevenfold. This is the exact setup he had all through 2025 and for his Drumeo session as well. And what's cool about this setup is it's pretty much divided into really dark sounding cymbals and then really bright sounding cymbals on this side of the kit. So we've got these dry dark exist crashes, which are super, super dark. And then on the other side, we've got the ion china, which is really bright. We have these brilliant exist crashes. He thinks of this kit kind of split sonically with the dark and bright sounds. Some individual cymbals on this kit that are really cool. We have an Exist 22-inch Power Ride prototype. This isn't currently on the market, but you can hear Brooks play this in songs like Almost Easy, between the two bells. We've got this cool stack, which is a 14-inch Turk China with a 12-inch splash on top. And then a really cool set of 17-inch dry dark hi-hats on this side, which give you a little bit of like a Steve Jordan kind of vibe. We've also got the 12-inch mini hi-hats that Brooks uses on Mattel and Nobody. It's kind of got that electronic sound, and his tech comes in and just swaps out the hats just for those two songs. Lots of really cool stuff, so let's check out how all these cymbals sound right now. The next drummer we're looking at is Dave Weckl and the signature cymbals he has with Sabian. He originally launched what we have here, the Evolution line, in 2002, and then a few years later, he launched the Legacy line. All of these are in the HHX series. These ones here are mainly for rock and fusion, and then he saves the Legacies for more jazz and straight ahead stuff. So these pretty much cover all your bases. We've got a stack over here, which is really cool. We've got the classic Sabian Ozone, which sounds awesome. And we also have this really cool 17 effects crash, which has beating along the edge, and it kind of tapers towards the floor a little bit, and it gives it this really cool sound. So we're gonna check out the Evolutions first, then the Legacies, and remember, at the link below, you can enter to win all of the Dave Weckl cymbals we're checking out right now. Next up, we're looking at Charlie Benante's Peisty setup he uses with Anthrax. And right here we have his most current rider setup, which is mainly Rude cymbals, signatures, and we also have some 2002s. We got the Novo Chinas and the hi-hats. We've got this crazy cymbal here as well. This is the signature Thrax metal ride that Charlie uses with Anthrax. This thing is like a manhole cover. It's super heavy. And Charlie changes out his cymbals all the time, so this setup right here is a little bit different from what he played during his Drumeo session, but it's quite similar. So right now, let's check out how all these cymbals sound. The next setup we're looking at is Tomas Haake's from Meshuggah. These are all Sabian cymbals and what he's using on the road with the band as of 2026. And the only thing missing from this setup is this 21-inch AAX Stream China, which is discontinued, but everything else here is exactly the same. And this setup's cool because we've got 3 huge ride cymbals on this side used as crashes. We've got 3 sets of hi-hats, 14s, 16s, and 15s, and then we have some crashes and chinas as well. And remember, you can also win this entire set of cymbals, even if you're not a Meshuggah fan. These are like great jazz ride cymbals if you want to use these how they were originally intended to be used. So the link is down below if you want to enter. Right now, let's check out how all these cymbals sound. And the last setup we're looking at is Vinnie Colaiuta's, drummer for Frank Zappa, Sting, and so many others. And Vinnie has been playing the Peisty 602s for around 15 years now, since they were reintroduced in 2010. This series originally came out, I believe, in the late 50s, and lots of drummers from that era played these. But these are the Modern Essentials line, and they pretty much cover everything. This is kind of the studio drummer's dream. And Vinnie also uses one bigger effects crash. This is a 20-inch Swiss medium crash, just to have that as an option on that side. And yeah, we're gonna check these out and hear how they sound. Well, there you go. Those are 11 iconic cymbal setups from throughout history. These are a blast to play, and I look forward to seeing down in the comments what you thought. Which setup did you love the most? Maybe there's one you would absolutely love to try. Also, don't forget you can enter to win 3 of these iconic cymbal setups at the link down in the description, drumeo.com/win, all worth over $16,000. So thank you so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.